Live from Beit Shemesh and broadcasted around the world, you are listening to the From Entrepreneur Podcast with your host, Nahum Kligman. Interviews and advice from Jewish entrepreneurs from around the world. Listen, learn, be Matzliach.
Welcome to episode 26 of the From Entrepreneur. And this is going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. I have with me the one, the only, Donny Weinraub, the magic master himself, the king of the Schnitzy. I should say Schnitzel, right?
That's cool.
King of the Schnitzel, the Shnitzel King, one half of the Shnitzel Guys, the Chai Lifeline Bikeathon champion. What you went on a bikeathon? What was you were like riding a mini bike or something like that?
Believe it or not, I went with a real bike. I was going to do the mini bike, but
you did a mini bike once, no? Or was that just like
that was for a different occasion?
That was for a different occasion. Yeah. Donny Weinraub.
Just for the record, by the way, before you continue,
yeah.
I was the last on Bike for Chai. Okay,
were you?
Yeah. I was like the last rider. But okay, go ahead.
What was that? First of all, I gave you an idea for that once. You didn't even answer. I think I sponsored you. And then I said I would double the money. I think I said I'll offer you $100 if when you finish the marathon you eat a pint of hot cholent. Do you remember that?
You offered me that?
I offered you that. I said, I'll give
totally
you $100.
would have taken that deal.
You would have, right?
For sure.
We're going to do that next time. Anyway, Donny Weinraub is somebody who I have known since literally he was born. His family, my family, are super close. His father, Charlie, who I think Donny got a lot of his passion from. Charlie was always and is always the life of any wedding, any Simcha, any party. And it just rubbed off on Donny. We'll talk about his influences, but we'll hear about magic. We're going to hear about juggling. You do juggle?
Yeah.
I didn't know you juggle. You do juggle?
I do.
We're going to hear about schnitzels. We're going to hear about, he loves schnitzel, by the way. We're going to hear about rubber chickens, or maybe I'll post some pictures of that. We're going to have a lot to talk about, a lot of fun stuff. So, Donny, welcome to the show.
Hey, Nahum Richard Kligman. How are you, sir?
Not too many people know that my name was Richard.
Really?
And first of all, you never called me Richard. Only my mother called me Richard.
We called you Richie.
Right. My mother called me Richard when she was mad at me, but
right.
Otherwise, no one really called me Richard.
No,
my in-laws did.
I was looking at my business card holder that said Richard P. Kligman. Oh. That's why I remembered that.
Right. Donny, besides being a close friend, somebody I've known since he was born, he's also a previous client of mine. It's funny, we're sitting here in Muncie, New York, and Donny was a client of mine when I was selling my promotional products, and he brought with him tonight a copy of his original business card that I did for him 20 years ago. And for those of you who listened, I don't even remember what episode number it was, but the episode I did about business cards, this did not exactly fit those recommendations or rules. I'll post a picture of the business card in the show notes as well.
Yeah, in those days, raised lettering was the big deal. I remember you were selling me on the raised lettering.
Raised lettering, huge, man, right. Huge.
Big orange card with the raised lettering. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we got the card color right. I think that was good.
It was great.
And it was definitely... I definitely made some money off you, which is important.
I hope so.
Did I do magnets for you also? Oh, and I did magnets for your father.
Yeah. Magnets for my dad, I think you did.
But I didn't do magnets for you.
No, we weren't advanced. It was too young. We were only 15 at the time, and we had just done, 3 birthday parties. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's how far back we go?
This is the beginning, man.
This is the beginning of the Schnitzel.
I could credit you for, I think Yitzy and I could credit you for, starting us off, being that you created the first business card, and that was, till this day, the only form of advertising we've ever done.
Is that true?
Business cards, yeah.
So that's interesting. We're going to get into that because...
We'll talk about that too, yeah.
We'll talk about that because to not have a business that runs on word of mouth means that you're doing something right. You are doing something right.
I hope so. We're trying.
Well, first of all, you mentioned Yitzy, so why don't you tell everybody who Yitzy is?
Yeah, Yitzy Haber, my partner, who I wouldn't even be here today without him. I mean, of course, I wouldn't be here today without Hashem. And, of course, my wife, who runs my entire house.
And, of course, my parents who had me when I was
young. Okay, I'm not going that far. Listen.
Well, you're like the only guy I wouldn't be here without him. Then you're like your wife,
no, the truth
Hashem,
is,
and
I'll tell you why. Because when I say my partner, you have to be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because, I don't want my wife to think, my partner is more important than my wife, you know what I'm saying? So I have to make sure that's careful over there. But anyway, my wife is awesome, and she really is awesome and lets me go out and do stuff. But Yitzy Haber's my partner. I wish he could be here tonight. He was going to try to come, but he couldn't make it. But we started in 1995, and we got our our cool Magic Masters business cards from Richard P. Kligman at Adventures in Advertising on Main Avenue in Passaic, New Jersey.
Woohoo! That was an awesome story. That was awesome stuff.
That was great.
I can't believe you're 15. I took advantage of a 15-year-old.
Yeah, it was great.
That was wrong of me.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm telling you.
It makes a good story 20 years later.
Yeah, big time.
And you do have a career out of this.
I think we paid like $150 for like 500 cards in those days.
$150.
I think it was about $150. I remember correctly.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I totally ripped you off.
You did, and now I think for 1,000 cards, I could probably pay like $15 or something like that. for 14-point UV coating with full color both sides.
But not with raised lettering.
That's true. That's true.
So first let's tell everybody what Magic Masters is. Let's tell everybody who are the Shnitzel Guys. How did that come about? What's the difference between Shnitzel Guys, Magic Masters? What's going on here?
All right, let's start from the beginning. So Magic Masters Entertainment was born. First of all, Yitzy and I know each other since second grade, right? So
where'd you go to school?
We went to Yeshiva of North Jersey. I was in Hillel first.
I was going to say, did you go to Hill Academy?
I was in Hillel first.
Your mother was my teacher.
That's true. And
was she really? That's a little scary.
I think so, right? She was
everyone's
teacher.
Your mother was my teacher?
She was everyone's teacher. Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I switched to YNJ.
Your mother's the best, by the way.
She's awesome. She's a rock star.
Is great.
Yeah, she's awesome. Where was I? Yes.
Second grade.
Second grade. I started YNJ. I know Yitzy for a long time now. Yitzy's a whole nother interview you should do another time, but Yitzy and I got close. Yitzy actually was a survivor of cancer, and he has a prosthetic leg, as you know, and a lot of people don't.
Right.
So anyway,
he makes the trick of taking off your leg at a show
look amazing.
Very realistic.
Yeah. I could tell you a story about that later. But anyway, when he came back he was kind of gone for a couple of years in school. When he came back in 8th grade, when he was solid in school, that's when we really got close. We were close before, but really close then. And we were doing tricks with each other. He was into magic. I was into magic, juggling. We kind of would, do with each other there. After elementary school, we switched, went to 2 different high schools. I went to Weinraub, Erdinsky, and Muncie. He went to TABC, but we stayed very close. And 2 years later, we decided, hey, let's do some shows. You know what I mean? We could do this magic thing. Let's do some shows. So one of our rebbes gave us, let us do the freebie party. He paid us to do that first, not freebie party, but he paid us. I think we charged $35 for that first show.
Right, so I actually made 5 times the amount on the business card sold
pretty on the much.
Show. Wow.
Pretty much. So anyway,
told you I was a good businessman.
We did a show for him. It was a kid's birthday party. And in those days, we were very into magic. As a 15-year-old being into magic, you kind of want to be impressive and cool in our costumes. When we look back our pictures, we're like, oh my gosh, what were we thinking? You know what I mean? Salvation Army, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Yitzy wore I wore like these yellow pants that I found somewhere, and Yitzy wore these he wore his regular pants with like American flag boxers over them. Like, I don't know why that was okay, but we did it. And so we did birthday party and did another birthday party and did another birthday party, mostly in the Teaneck and Passaic area. That's where we were. We were getting rides from our parents to the shows,
Right.
And we went from one to another, and I think really till this day, just to put in a little thing about business, I think, focusing on doing a good job, that was like our main, since the beginning, focusing on just delivering a good product. Granted, when I look back and I see what we delivered then, I don't know how great it was. And probably the people were hiring us because they thought, hey, we can keep our kids busy here for $35 for an hour, even if it stinks. Hey, why not?
I'm sure this, in the eyes of 6, 7, 8-year-olds, anything that's different or interesting is, exciting and fun and different. So, you had definitely an active audience.
Definitely in those days, yes. In our days, it's much harder with all the cell phones and all the video games and all the stuff we have now. It's definitely much more challenging to keep those kids busy. But yes, and probably in those days, the kids were probably entertained by us falling on the floor and making a fool out of ourselves. And we kind of actually, in the beginning, we were very focused on magic, and then we kind of geared it towards clowning. That came because we developed our characters over time, being on stage, and we got. It's funny, thinking back of some of the gigs that we got and how we got them. Because again, we didn't put advertising in the local papers. We didn't advertise in any of the Jewish, local things. This was totally, obviously, there's all siyata d'shmaya and everything came from Hashem. But it's amazing how we just ran into people, met people. Both Yitzy and I were both, we'd go and talk to people, tell them what we do. We're very proud of it. We handed them our card. Yeah, everywhere. I mean, I just did a bar mitzvah, and we'll get into the whole bar mitzvah thing. That's the Shnitzel Guys. But I just did a bar mitzvah 3-4 weeks ago, roughly, where I did that kid's upshirin, which is now 10 years later.
No way.
Yeah. So, and we met the guy the night before. We had gone out on a Saturday night, we went out to Motzei Shabbos and Teaneck to, I think it was Pizza Crave at the time, right?
Right.
We went out for pizza, Yitzy and I and a couple other guys, and we were sitting there in the restaurant. And when we go out in the restaurants, we used to always do tricks on people randomly. Just walk up to people, do tricks, bring them over to the table, go over to their tables. We had a field day with that. So we met
that's an incredible thing. So so you would just go and randomly just do tricks in front of them?
We just walk over to random people and go, like, you guys want to see a trick? Now, that might look strange for a 15-year-old to do that, 16, 18, whatever, as I went.
Right.
But, yeah, that's how and we met this guy there, and we start schmoozing with this guy. We did a couple tricks for him, and he's like, I'm having a party tomorrow, right? And he's like, you guys should come do my party. So we're like, okay. So we got hired right there for this party tomorrow, right, which was going to be that Sunday.
Right.
And now I just did that kid's bar mitzvah. How awesome is that?
That is a crazy story.
Yeah, it's awesome. So thank God there's a lot. There's not just one. There's a whole bunch of people that I did their upsharings and their bar mitzvahs at this point. There's even one kid I didn't do his upsharing, but I did his bar mitzvah and his wedding, which is pretty cool.
Wow. So you do weddings also? So what does it mean? Because you're not, it's obviously it's advanced. It's not, you're not just doing magic all the time now.
Right. So we'll get into that a little bit. It's going to go back to the story a little bit. But so, we started getting into lots of different, besides birthday parties, we started doing, pirchei shows and camp shows, school shows, all different shows. And, Yitzy's the real businessman part of us. We have a phenomenal partnership. Yitzy's my brother. He's my friend. He's my partner. He's awesome.
Right.
And we have a great mix together. You know what I mean? Like, I was all about the content. He's all about the business. I mean, we're both about both, but, our focus is. And so Yitzy's like the real salesman. He's the guy that, he'll say yes, and I'm the guy who has to deliver it, a lot of times. So I'll tell you a story about that.
Of course, Donnie could walk on a high wire between two buildings on fire.
Well, I got something close. So we're at a bar mitzvah once. And again, I'll get to bar mitzvahs, but we're at a bar mitzvah once, and this lady comes up and she's like, wow, you guys did awesome. That was phenomenal. She goes, I want to have some other stuff at this bar mitzvah that I'm doing. So we're like, yeah, we help. Another thing that we do is we help find, other entertainers, and we help produce events as well. So we're talking to this lady. Yitzy and I were standing there, and the lady's like, yeah, I want when the bar mitzvah boy comes in, like for the first dance set, whatever, I want him to come in on an elephant.
An elephant.
Yeah, she wanted like a big production. She wanted to come in an elephant. So
that makes sense.
So exactly. So I'm looking. Well, in the States here, there's some. You're probably not used to some of the parties that we do over here, which are they're pretty extreme. But camels. Elephant is definitely an exception, even for an American party, not a common thing.
Okay.
So anyway, this woman's like, I want the kid to come in on an elephant. So Yitzy and I are so I'm like, I'm thinking I can't. Like I'm thinking in my head, like, how will we bring an elephant to a hall? You know what I mean?
Right.
And Yitzy on the other hand is like, of course we could do that with a straight face. He looks right at the lady. He's like, no problem. So she's like, really? Oh yeah, no problem. And not only that, we'll color coordinate the elephant's what is it called? The shmata that they put on the elephant. I forget what they call it. The saddle that they put on the elephant. Yeah, we'll color coordinate that to whatever colors you're doing with the tablecloths. Like he's telling her, no problem. We got this covered, right? So we have this whole conversation about all
When
these
is
different
this?
things.
How many years ago is this?
It was a bunch of years back, 6-7 years ago, maybe more. So anyway, he comes and he's like, after she walks away afterwards, he looks at me and goes, Donnie, where are we getting an elephant? So it happens to be it was actually getting serious. In the end, she never went with us. It was the whole thing, whatever. It was one of those. Yeah, it fell through. But I ended up having to do the homework to find out where we're getting an elephant. So I actually found a contact, and for $40,000, you can bring an elephant to your bar mitzvah or wedding. How you're going to get it through the elevator and through the wedding hall? That's a separate. Or bar mitzvah hall. That's a separate thing. But it was only a lousy $40,000.
That's it.
Anyway,
no brainer.
So we were doing lots of shows. And all different places. We actually got a corporate gig too, which was fun. A guy I knew that worked for.
We did corporate gigs for a while. I remember hearing.
Yeah, so we did a whole bunch of things over the years. One of our first ones was when we were like 18, 19, something like that. I forget exactly which year, but we were young. And this guy who I knew from town hired us to do. He worked for he was a vice president of sales for this big printing company. The ones that print like those when you go to the BMW dealer. Not that you do, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Those big.
Is it because I'm Jewish?
Those big. Anyway, those big catalogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talking about those fancy catalogs that look like they cost $500 to print each one.
Yeah.
So that's what this company did. Anyway, they hired us to do. It was in New Orleans at the DMA, which is a big marketing convention.
Yeah.
And in the big.
I know the DMA.
Yeah. So this is again pre-September 11th. Blah blah blah. Anyway. We got hired it was a Chol Moed Sukkos. We got hired for 3 days to go at the trade show and get people using magic to get people to come to the booth. And then the sales guys would take over and sell their products and, whatever. Right. So we did it. It was tons for us. We were 18, 19. For us, this was more money. Corporate is like different money. Like the guy was like, how come you didn't expense this, and this, and this? And we're like, we could do that. We don't know. We're kids.
Where was the convention?
So it was in New Orleans at this.
Oh, so you actually flew to New Orleans?
Yeah, so they flew us to New Orleans. We stayed at some ritzy hotel. The only kosher restaurant at the time, forgot what it's called, but it was like 30 minutes outside of New Orleans, and it was like one of these places where it's like, $65 a head to eat, and they're like, oh yeah, you have to eat all 3 meals there. It's kosher. So we're like, okay. They had a sukkah there and whatever. Anyway, that was a fun gig. But so we ended up, whatever, we did a lot of things. How did the whole, let's talk about Bar Mitzvah. So that's how the whole Shnitzel Guys thing created. So Magic Masters Entertainment was the company for, forever. It's the corporate company. About 13 years ago, we were doing these bar mitzvah like hotel weekends where people would to bring us into a hotel to kind of counselor or babysit the kids. That are there. Like they bring 20, 30 boys for Shabbos. Right. They needed someone to keep an eye on them.
I've done that before. I did it for the Fry Tuck-In for a couple of years.
So the reason they liked us, I didn't have
magic.
So that was actually one piece. That reason it was a good catch because we were telling them, oh yeah, we're going to entertain them also. We're not just going to babysit them. We're going to entertain them. Right. And we did. We built a relationship with the kids, and we would do tricks, and we do other games with them and all different things. So the whole bar mitzvah thing started where it was actually this one Shabbos that we did was the Washington Hotel, which I'm sure you know, in Bell Harbor. Everyone, that was around for 100 years. We were there for Shabbos, and these people had us for Shabbos, and they said, hey, you want to stay Saturday night? You can stay. And we ended up staying, and we were, I had a whole bunch of colored suits in the car that we were crashing weddings at the time early on and doing shtick at weddings and juggling and stuff. So we put some stuff on, we go in, and we're just making Labor Dick and having a great time. And afterwards, people came up and were like, you do this? This is awesome. We're like, yeah, we do this. So that's when the whole bar mitzvah thing started. We didn't call it Shnitzel Guys at the time, but that's when bar mitzvah started. So we ended up starting this whole thing where, until today, it's probably about 85% of the jobs that we're doing are bar mitzvahs, where we're going in and we're making Labor Dick and getting the kids really into the party, having a great time, involving them. Again, in certain places, that means playing games, dancing. We do, let's say, during the smorgasbord, we'll do walk around magic, things like that. So there's some entertainment from that perspective, but it's mainly focused on getting the boys into the dancing and making a Labor Dick and really involving them in the Simcha, especially today, it's a big challenge because these kids are coming to the parties with their phones and their things, and it's getting kids off it used to be 13 years ago was a lot different than today. Trying to get kids to dance, right? You know what I mean, now it's it's a lot much more challenging, but we try to make it fun, and thank God we're very successful at that. And probably about 6 years ago, roughly, I'd have to look up the exact timing, but I think about 6 years ago, the whole Shnitzel Guy thing came about. It's an interesting thing. Obviously, it's all siyata d'shmaya, but from a branding perspective,
what do people know? You're saying the Schnitzel thing, but what is that?
Okay, so we started this phenomenon called I Love Schnitzel, right? Okay. It all started because we were at parties, we were just schmooze with kids, and we would joke with them, right? So we would just pick a topic to talk about. Schnitzel just came up, right, one time, and we just abused that. You know what I mean? We just talked about Schnitzel. I mean, it happens to be my favorite food. So
you really do love Schnitzel? I was going to ask.
Passionately, I love Schnitzel.
Okay.
So, and I'm not biased. I love Schnitzel from everywhere. I'm not going to sit here and tell you one specific store to get it in or one recipe.
Why not? You're not going to tell me your favorite Schnitzel?
I don't have a favorite.
There's no, if you could get Schnitzel from any place in the world.
It's tough. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. Chickies in Teaneck, for example, is phenomenal Schnitzel, but so is Schnitzie's in Brooklyn. And they make two different style Schnitzels. And both of them are phenomenal. So I can't say that one's better than the other.
What about homemade? Does your wife make Schnitzel?
Of course. My wife's Schnitzel is the best. If that had to pick a best, but that goes without saying. That's like Michael Jordan basketball, same thing. Right. My wife's Schnitzel is not even in the ball.
Oh, so that's right. It's not even in the ball.
Right.
Okay. So obviously, you're one Schnitzel at your wife's.
Right. Okay. And my mother-in-law and my mother, of course. You know what I'm saying?
And Hashem.
Yeah. Hashem, I haven't seen his Schnitzel specifically, but, like the physics, whatever. Anyway.
But what about Yitzy's wife's Schnitzel?
I don't know if I've ever had her Schnitzel. She makes really good food. I've been to their house for Shabbos, so they make really good food, but I don't know about the Schnitzel. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble here.
Does Yitzy like Schnitzel?
Yitzy does love Schnitzel too. Yeah, I don't know if he loves it.
He's not as passionate.
No, I think he is. He just doesn't express it like I do. I have problems with that. You know what I mean?
Right. You have like
ADD, G, X, Q, W. There's a lot of letters after that for me. Yeah. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, the Schnitzel. So the bar mitzvah. So 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah. So Schnitzel. We were talking about Schnitzel, and to the point where people were just saying, get those guys. The Schnitzel guys. Like many people just gave us the name. Like you would say, you're a haircut guy, you're a whatever guy, so you're a Schnitzel guys. And the brand was just, again, this is total siyata d'shmaya and totally from Hashem. Like it was just created. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Just came to be.
Right now, it is a brand. I mean, thank God, in many areas in the tri-state area, people just know the Schnitzel guys. You have to get the Schnitzel guys. Like it's not. If
you're doing a bar mitzvah, you got to get the Schnitzel guys.
Funny thing is, we were looking with bands and DJs DJs. You know, people, once we started doing this, a lot of the bands, party planners, DJs were hiring us out, right? So for example, at that first bar mitzvah, Shelley Lang was there. You remember Shelley Lang?
Of course.
He was very big in the business. So he started booking us out, and then Neshama started booking us out, you know, and Nafshenu and all the band. I mean, I could sit here and list everybody, but they started, like, you know, because it's a nice feature to add on to
right. Well,
their
the bands.
services,
I mean,
you know?
when the kids are dancing, the kids are rocking to it. It makes the bands look better.
Right. So, and they make us look better, and we make them look better, and it's a good synergy.
And the whole Simcha is better.
Right. So yeah, hopefully. So yeah. That's
you ever like do a job and just like, you guys just really didn't do anything. You guys just.
Thank God it hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
Thank God. We really get ranting, raving reviews afterwards. Believe Ironheart, we really do. We thank. I mean, there are parties where we'll go afterwards and we'll talk to each other and be like, oh man, that wasn't as good. Not because the party wasn't good, but like, certain things, schedule, whatever it was that made it whatever. But for the most part, we thank God people are happy. I mean, thank God. And it's really, in certain areas, like, I don't know, I don't have Facebook, but my friend showed me one time someone had posted, I need some party motivators on one of these like T-neck shuls, lists that they have. And every post going down was like, oh, call Donny Weinraub, call Yitzy Haber, call Donny Weinraub, call the Shnitzel Guys,
Wow.
Oh, every post said like our names. I was really phenomenal. When I saw this, really I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then on the end, she's like, yeah, they're not available. And then, do you have any other recommendations? And thank God there was no other posts after that.
Oh my God!
I mean, whatever. I want everyone to.
Well, there's only one set of Shnitzel Guys.
Baruch Hashem. No, there's a lot of people out there that are very laboric. It's great, but thank God.
So let's talk about a second. Let's talk about weddings for a second, because one, you mentioned you used to do wedding crashes. So I don't know what that means exactly. And two, like I remember any wedding. We had a Baruch Hashem. We've been to a lot of weddings together, and you always ended up with tuxedos. You ended up on top of tables. You ended up with animals coming in, not elephants, but goats, horses.
Yeah.
I mean, like really like crazy stuff. So you used to crash weddings. What does that mean?
So early on when I was in yeshiva, in Muncie especially, like they had, the atrium here had weddings all the time. So I actually had a friend that was kind of like a maitre d' over there. I made friends with him. And he even called me once in a while and he'd be like, Donnie, there's a mace mitzvah here. That was the code word.
That was the code word for
so mace mitzvah means a wedding needs help. You know what I mean? Like there's not.
Wow.
So we're like, okay, cool. So I would sometimes, once in a while, I go myself. Sometimes I'd bring a bunch of guys and we go in there. I juggle fire. We whatever. So a lot. I remember one time where like the people. It was a small wedding for Bali Tshuva. There wasn't a lot of people. They were older, so they didn't have their whole yeshiva with them. The older girl didn't have all her seminary friends. The guy. So they were older people. So they were just like, people like wondering, trying to figure out where we came from. Like, who are you related to? So we just kept saying we're the chassan's friend. And then when the chassan looked at me, I was like, you don't remember we went to camp together? And I give him a little wink, and that was it. I didn't want them to, he shouldn't feel bad or whatever.
Right.
Thank God we like rocked the party. So, and of course, I was only doing it because in yeshiva I needed, dinner. Like that was all. I got food out of the deal.
You got food.
I'm in it for the free food.
No, but I mean, truthfully, the mitzvah of Simchas Chassan and Kala, that's can't be measured, in anything. That can't be measured in food, so to speak. That can't be measured in Shnitzel.
Baruch Hashem, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it tremendously. Yitzy and I both
You're allowed to
love
enjoy mitzvahs.
What we do.
I
know sometimes you feel like it's taking away from the schar if you
if you get a meal afterwards.
Well, yeah, maybe. Depends how good the meal was.
No, but I mean, think about it. I mean, the Gemara talks about the Tanaim that would the Tanim. That's right?
Well, there's a Gemara in Tainus that you're probably referring to with those guys.
They would juggle fire.
Right.
At weddings and stuff. And the mitzvah of being Misameh Chassan and Kala is one of the biggest mitzvahs you can do. So, I mean, that's unbelievable that
Baruch Hashem,
do that.
Yeah. So I don't get to do that as often now.
Well,
I did it a lot.
Kids are getting older. I mean, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. So my son actually is getting into the business.
Is he really?
He actually has his own little business now. He does birthday parties, upsharons. He's done already. He started like this past year. He's already done like 12 parties.
Plug him. What's his name?
Yoel Weinraub, the amazing yo-yo.
The amazing yo-yo?
The great yo-yo. Wow, and I made his business card. The great yo-yo.
Whoa, now you're how come I didn't get to do his business card?
I don't know. You weren't, yeah.
Can you imagine I did your son's business card?
Yeah. I got it done on Fiverr. That's the truth,
Fiverr.
I got to plug Fiverr a little bit.
Wait, it was an Israeli company.
Yeah.
Okay, so the amazing yo-yo.
So the great yo-yo is doing juggling, balloon animals. He's great. And the truth is funny. Like everyone comes over and is like, you taught him everything else. Believe it or not, I didn't. I gave him some supplies. I gave him books that I read from, that I study on a regular basis. And of course, we talk shop, if you will, right? And we can discuss routines. He's 12. Mitzvah Shem 13 in a few weeks. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's his bar mitzvah you're making, right?
So
you know what? You should tell everybody when the bar mitzvah so we could all crash, because you crash so many bar mitzvahs.
Everyone keeps asking me if I'm going to have the Shnitzel Guys at my bar mitzvah. I'm like, I can't afford them. Straight up.
So
I'm inviting Yitzy, and I'm hoping he'll dance. You know what I mean? And then, so Baruch Hashem, by the way, let's going back to the Shnitzel Guys. So we have picked up over the years, a bunch of guys that work with us now.
Right.
So basically, we train guys in to be Shnitzel Guys. So we don't send out crews of people.
You're training Shnitzel Guys?
We've been doing it for a whole bunch of years already. More than, since probably 10 years already. We've had guys that are retired already.
Really?
Yeah. Because what happens is we get younger guys, like college age guys, right? No one married like us with kids are going to really want to be interested in doing this. No, only us wackos. Only
the original Schnitzels.
Yeah. But no, Baruch Hashem. So what we do is we could do 2 parties at the same time. So Yitzy will take a guy, I'll take a guy, we can split up. We don't send crews out. We won't take 3 parties, 4 parties. And that's actually from a business perspective. It's something we think about all the time. Right now, over the last year, we've been trying to keep track of all the parties that we are not getting after 2, meaning if someone called us and we were already double booked, we already were booked where Yitzy's going out and I'm going out, how many parties are we missing from that perspective to see whether or not it's worth, making a business decision, but, maybe making one of our guys a partner or sending out guys, you know what I mean? We want to keep the quality as opposed to a quantity thing. So, you have to judge that when you're dealing with growth and figuring out what makes the most sense. And I think we have a very good name, so.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. It's interesting that your son's doing it now because I remember we talked a little bit about it before, but I remember your father always being the life of the party, dancing on tables and balancing bottles on his head, and and then you got into the business, and now your son. It's fun stuff. It's really great stuff.
It's awesome, Baruch Hashem. I miss watching my father do his fancy footwork. He used to
dance.
He doesn't do that anymore, but those were the days. Yeah, I got excited to go to Simchas at a very young age. I remember my father lighting hats on fire. You remember that old shtick? He was very into that.
Hill Wasserman used to do that.
Yeah.
I wonder who taught who that.
Yeah. I don't know. My father, I think, is a couple years on Hill.
That's true. That's true.
So plug out to Hilch.
Yeah, Hilchy.
Man.
Still very.
We should talk about the catering day. See, we didn't even touch upon that.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other thing.
We get Moshe on board.
We have a great story for that one, by the way. Can we tell one story?
Which one? The one we
did in Edison where the tray fell. Do you remember one with the tray fell?
Who was that? It was Mo Star, right?
It was me, you, and Mo.
Me, you, and Mo.
And Hilch and Shlomi.
Right.
And we were all in that kitchen, that makeshift kitchen in the back of the Aguda.
Right, there was no room
there was room for all of us to put our backs against the walls. And I remember that was the place where the kiddush was inside the shul after davening.
Right.
And everything would just as soon as the Don Olam was over, boom, we went out on a tray and you had to fire it through, and the people were hungry. You had to send it down there, and we had all those trays, those big waiter trays filled with all the food.
Right.
And there was waiter trays filled with cakes and one with gefilte fish and the crane and all that stuff.
Right, we had set it up right.
And Hilch had that huge army pot. You remember that square pot that took 4 hands to hold, and if it was one. And I remember someone put it on the table. And all of a sudden the table collapsed and the chillin fell right down on the floor. But it landed on the pot, good. Right. It landed good. But because the table went down, all the cakes and kugels and whatever, the gefilte fish, everything went flying. And that I'll never forget. I will never forget the moment of silence that happened, because it was about 7 minutes to the Adon Olam. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'll never forget the whole room. Everyone was just looking at each other. No one said a word. And then all of a sudden the moment of silence broke and everyone just knew what to do. You know what I mean? Let's pick it up. Let's just fix it. Let's put all the food back on the plate and not tell anyone, whatever we had to do. But I'll never forget that moment of silence. Anyway, sorry. Tangent. But we had good times catering together there. I used to waiter for them.
For sure.
Waterstone Caterers. Yep.
Yeah, I did my own catering once. I did. Yeah, once it was called KKK. Which was, I guess, not my best branding idea. Kiddush Club Caterers.
When was that?
I had one event. I did the Bree Band Briss.
Who?
Bree Band. Remember Bree Band? They bought our house on Brook Avenue, 279 Brook.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Wow.
They were around the corner from you.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wow.
At one time,
I heard that
name
in so long.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to them.
I don't know.
They were good people. I liked them a lot. So Mr. Breban, he came to me once and says, "Can you do cater?"
Of course.
I said, "Of course I do." He said, "Yeah, we're making a bris or whatever." I said, "I got that," and I printed up cards, and Kiddush Club caterers, and put them on all the tables, and actually I did a great job. Had a lot of experience and stuff, and how hard it is to buy bagels and cream cheese and juice and set everything up, and it was a lot of fun. I did I made some pretty decent money on it. And that was my first and only job. I don't know why I didn't continue with it, but that was fun. That was
great.
That was my experience as my own catering company.
What about your pizza shop? Didn't you have a pizza shop in Israel?
I did. Gamzu's. But we're not here to talk about me.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We could, but it's already. I want to talk about what do we want to talk about?
What about chavrusas? You were my chavrusa, if you remember, when you came back from
Israel.
Israel.
I was your tutor.
My tutor. That's true. Your dad taught me science and math for the Regents, and Nachum taught me Gemara. I don't remember what Masechta we learned together, but we learned.
Yeah.
And you taught me in the learning thing. You taught me how to flip a match off the matchbox. You remember that trick?
Oh yeah.
You taught me that. Till this day, you taught me how to do that. I can still do it today. I'll demo for you later if you want.
We still put a little video.
You know where you put the matchbox on the top and you flick it, and
the
lights and it. Yeah.
Yeah. You still
good
do
times.
that?
I not regularly.
I stopped doing that 25 years ago.
Not regularly, but actually this summer when my son and I made a little campfire in the back, I was trying to do that to light it. I thought it'd be a cool effect, but it didn't work.
You know how many times I burnt myself doing that?
Every time, every fifth time I burned myself.
Right.
Still till today.
But when you get it right, it looks really cool.
And by the way, yeah, absolutely. And every time I burn myself, all I do is think about you, that you taught me this, and why did we waste our time with this? But anyway, no, I'm kidding. It's actually one of the talents that I really...
Oh, we were in Ronanu together also.
Ronanu, Nachum's Nacho Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was hoping... I don't think when you did the Tully Klein interview, Rabbi Tully Klein, Shlita,
right.
I don't think you sang the Nachum's Nacho Men song, because when I was listening to it, all in the back of my head was Nachum's Nacho Men. I want to be a Nacho Man.
I wanted to do... when I listened to that episode, I felt, even though it was a great episode with Tully, but I wanted to talk so much more about Ronanu because
we had good times.
We had fantastic times, and part of what I loved about it was that I just came up... I had this attitude of just... Remember, they also had... I think one year I had a bunk, Shevet Levi, and we call it Shevet Levi, Nachum's Crazy.
Yeah.
And I just did things that would be so memorable that people even till today.
So I'll remind you something. Do you remember after Tisha B'Av? After 3 weeks,
yes, this is famous.
You used to have them all shave your head.
Yes,
that was awesome. They love that.
At Chatzos,
right?
My whole bunk get together with a shaver, and I used to like a month and a half before the summer. I would just not cut my hair.
That was awesome.
And so by Tisha B'Av, my hair was crazy out of control. My beard was out of control, and I would just have my kids shave my head, and it was an official.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I remember that. The campers loved that. That was a big hit.
It's funny. I'm middle of working on a book now, but I had this. I'm also starting to do some public speaking, and I actually started preparing a whole speech of comparing color war to marketing. And the things that I used to do. That, just out of the box thinking and doing things that would create memories that people remember, for the rest of their lives, and kids remember when they used to shave my head and we did some other crazy thing. One of the things I love was that I would do stuff, and we shouldn't be talking about me, but I guess.
I love it. I love talking about you.
No, but I would come up with stuff that would not just be for my bunk, but the whole camp would sing, right? Whenever we did like a crazy song or something, the whole, remember one year, I think my first year I had Zrizim. That was the name of our bunk.
Sounds familiar.
Chesky Bukin and what's his name? Trop was in there.
Yeah,
a lot of great guys, a lot of great kids. And then 2 years later, I got that same bunk, and it was a different name for the bunk. But every time that Tully would say the name of the bunk, we'd have our whole bunk scream,
"Yeah, Zrizim.
No Zrizim," and then we'd get the whole camp just scream, "No Zrizim."
I'm surprised till this day that you haven't opened a camp. You know what I mean?
Well, my the guy who I beat in color war twice, Effie Weissmantel, has Moroccan.
I know Effie very well.
Yeah, actually, no, I didn't beat him.
My kids
twice.
went to Moroccan Day Camp.
Oh,
I actually
did
shows from Moroccan Day Camp
really?
past 5 years. Yeah, from Mini Moroccan.
So Effie, first of all, I'm still close with. I'm very close with his brother. Do you remember David Robles?
Of course.
So I'm very close with him still.
Oh, please send him my regards. By the way,
I will.
David, I haven't seen. He used to live with me in Muncie. I see him all the time.
Right,
Do you remember the Chikanda?
The Chawada?
The Chikanda.
What's a Chikanda?
That was, remember when Effie and David used to put on plays in camp together? They were two, oh my gosh.
David
was hilarious, and Effie would just stuff his face with food and make it fall on the floor, and he still does that, by the way, till today.
Does he still do it?
All the time. And my kids come home from camp, and they tell me, oh my gosh, you should see what Effie did where he put spaghetti in his face. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was mom.
So first of all, I taught Effie everything he knows. He won't admit it. But he was the color war reading general till I came, and I knocked him off his throne.
He probably won't admit it.
He won't admit it.
He will definitely not admit it, but that could be.
And then the next year he was my lieutenant, and we rock. I don't remember. I was asking Tully just the other day, just a couple weeks ago. I was asking him who were the two guys that we took on when I was general for the second summer. There was these two guys that came on, and they were like hotshot guys. and they were like, and they said that they wanted to be general and lieutenant general, until he put me and Effie up against them. And there was never such a lopsided color war in the history of camp, where just putting Effie and I together on the same team was just like, I
don't recall. I'm trying to think who that is.
I think they were Muncie guys, actually.
Could be.
Like, if you're out there listening.
By the way, the Chikanda
was
David was in a panda costume, wearing a hockey mask, and he stuck a rubber chicken. Oh, perfect for this interview.
Perfect for Schnitzels.
He put the rubber chicken outside of like the eyeball.
Oh yeah,
and he walked around on all fours, and they had a name, the Chikanda.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Putting the chicken with the panda, Chikanda.
Chikanda.
Anyway, that was one of my memories from Camp Rondu. We had a great times at Suntan Lake, but anyway,
that was definitely
good times.
Yeah.
So back to Shnitzel Guys. Shnitzel Guys was born, and thank God, we do over 100 bar mitzvahs a year now, and we go all over the place. We've been to I think it's now officially on the books 3 countries and 11 states.
Wow.
And we get to go to some crazy
3
parties.
countries: Israel,
Israel,
U.S., Canada,
and US. Yeah, nice. I know it doesn't sound as cool. 11,
3 countries.
Just so you know,
mean Israel, U.S., and Canada?
11 states also includes New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. So,
Yeah, that's okay.
But we've been to New Orleans, Chicago, Detroit, L.A., Florida. I don't know. Boston. We were in Massachusetts. We've been around.
Boston and Massachusetts.
New Orleans.
Technically, Boston is in Massachusetts.
Sorry. I wasn't counting them as 2, but yes.
What time is it? It's actually pretty late. It's 12:30 a.m.
All right.
Whatever. This is great.
I'm in no rush.
What time? How long is this episode? Wow, that's not bad. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm having a great time. You having a great time?
Fun.
This is fantastic.
Catching up with you, I could do this all day.
But the listeners want to listen to us catch up together.
Listen, the good thing is they're not on right now, right?
Right. They can't tell us.
They can't talk, so we can just keep going. They can hit play, hit pause.
Right, so
I happen to be, by the way, a huge From Entrepreneur fan.
Is that true?
I listen to no, I promise. I listen to every episode. First of all, it's extremely nostalgic for me because it's you. Every time I hear your voice, I'm like, oh man, he's back. By the way, I have your bookshelf still at my house. By the way.
Oh, the book when I made Aliyah that I sold you?
Yeah, I took. Yeah, I bought you.
They're
those
still
books.
good.
Let me tell you, I got my money's worth on those because I paid $35 from you for those 2 bookshelves used. They were in perfect condition.
It's got to be 13 years now.
And I have them. Yeah, I have them. I'm married now. It's going to be 14 years. Yeah,
and they're IKEA.
And they're IKEA, which is mind blowing that it even lasted that long.
That's right.
With. I mean, that's mamish.
You also bought the what's called off us, and the glass.
Yeah, the glass cabinet. I still have it. Also,
it's funny. I just went to IKEA with my wife and kids. When was it? It was recently. Couple months ago in Israel, and they still had the glass. They're still selling that glass thing. I was like,
we just retired it in our dining room in our house. It's now in the garage because we weren't sure we were going to put it right now. It's the first time it hasn't been used. But I'm considering one of my pastimes. By the way, I don't know if this is a question about hobbies. I think you asked about hobbies to some of the other people. One of my hobbies is
no, I never asked anybody what their hobbies were.
Oh, okay, so we won't get into it then.
Go ahead, you can do it. I'll ask you officially.
Okay.
So, do you have any hobbies?
I can't talk about them on the phone.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so this has been absolutely awesome. I'm having the greatest time of my life. I could sit and smooth with you forever. Maybe
big time.
Give me a story. Give me something. Give our audience something to take away. First of all, from a business aspect, I guess this is a business show. Someone wants to get into this business. Is there room? Is there a need? Apparently, I guess there is a need if people keep hiring you.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. So it's interesting you said need, right? So even in the recession, when it was a big deal over here, the recession, you would think as entertainment, we would be the last thing to be cut off the list at bar mitzvahs. You know what I mean? Like
the first thing to be cut off.
Yeah, sorry, the first thing. Thank you.
Right.
But thank God we were very busy then too. Maybe not as busy. There's probably a little decline, but we were still pretty busy. We attribute that to, besides Hashem, obviously,
right.
But we attribute that to the fact that a lot of clients will tell us that we've heard this through all different people, that they feel it's a necessity to have us at the party. Meaning, some people look at it as an entertainment thing, right? It's very nice. You're having these fun guys. They come in cool suits, right? We have a hole in the back of our suit, car. We have tons of, all different costumes. And when we go to a party, we'll change 2 or 3 times at the same party. We'll come in our top hat and tails. We'll change to blue, pink, white, green, all different colors, right? So to some people, okay, it's very nice. We have this cool entertainers. Yeah, that will do a little juggling, a little magic. Very nice, right?
Right.
But what we try to do and what people see is that we're really taking care of the kids. We're really keeping the kids involved in the Simcha. That's really what we're focusing on. So these people, the way they're thinking about it is, how am I having 60, 70 kids come to my bar mitzvah and not have them involved, not have someone there to, so if it means, okay, so we have to have a little less food or a little less centerpieces or a little less whatever it is, cut down here and there, let's keep the Shnitzel Guys. So thank God that's really, it helped us a lot, I think, because,
Okay, so in terms of branding, I mean, so you switched over to the name Shnitzel Guys, right? What's the website? I'm going to post it anyway.
So iloveschnitzel.com.
iloveschnitzel.com.
Yeah, and we love Schnitzel. We promote the love for Schnitzel. My feeling is that if the world leaders, before they sat down at the White House and had these meetings, if they sat down and had good Schnitzel sandwiches, I think the world would be a better place. I mean, straight up.
For sure. Yeah. No, I hear that.
I know, but I don't know why they don't do it. I mean, it's very nice for me to have an idea.
I think you should start a petition online.
We could do that.
That Schnitzel should become one of the meals at the White House.
I need a startup. That's your expertise. So we'll have to, after this, we should talk about that a little bit.
Starting up a campaign.
Yeah, starting up a campaign, maybe a Kickstarter thing or whatever,
So let me ask something, though. When did the rubber schnitzels get in?
Yeah, so one of the prizes, that we were giving out for prizes of games and best dancer and stuff like that, we give out these little rubber schnitzels, right? These little rubber chickens. We call them rubber schnitzels.
Right.
And it's kind of part of the whole branding. When we made the business card, we made the logo, I gave this rubber schnitzel to the designer and I said, hey, this is our mascot. Make this in, the cartoon form, and you've seen it on the card.
How many rubber schnitzels have you given out?
That's a very good question. On the website, by the way, when we give a schnitzel, when we give one out, we tell people to go to the website and they can name their schnitzel. There's a master list on the website of all the schnitzel names, right? So
people name their schnitzels?
Yeah. So
people name the rubber schnitzels.
People name their stars, okay? So if they can name their stars, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh, name the star.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was where I got the idea from.
This was like 20 years ago. I remember
they
the advertisement name a star.
They still advertise it. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's genius.
Every once in a while, 80.
I guess there's 40 billion stars. So you just name one.
I was thinking about starting another star business like that. Like who's to say I can't?
Why can't you name
as an
the
entrepreneur?
stars?
Why can't I be the one to give out a certificate for $400 that says you?
Right. Right. Why did they? That's a very good question.
I don't know. That was an idea I had. I should. I'm sharing it with you. Maybe.
No, but
maybe someone listening will.
You're naming rubber schnitzels.
So I got that's kind of where we got the idea a little bit. So we figured let the kids.
So you'll give out a rubber schnitzel, and then a kid will name and go to the website.
They go to the website. They'll send an email in that says the birthday of the schnitzel. It has a little form there to fill out, and you fill out the name of the schnitzel and the birth date and stuff like that. We add it to the list. We have a few more to add actually that just came in this week. But it's funny to see some of the schnitzels from all across the United States. And
I have a great idea.
Whatever.
I have a great idea.
Yes.
I want to give out some rubber schnitzels to my audience.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'll leave you with schnitzels tonight.
So no, because I'm going back to Israel. So you're going to give them out.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some sort of contest on my website, and the first, I don't know how it works. Whatever, we'll see. I'll run a contest and we'll pick 10 winners.
Okay.
And 10 winners will get a rubber schnitzel from the Shnitzel Guys. How's that sound?
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. I'm on board.
All right, Donny Weinraub. I'm so happy.
That's it. We're going to end now. We have so much more to talk about.
I know, but I don't. It's like almost. It's like 45 minutes.
Wow, it's a long time. It's really that long already. Wow.
Well, the podcasts actually go fast, and it's a question. Some people say that when I interview them, they're like, "Who wants to listen to 45 minutes?" But people really actually have been liking the show, and they don't mind a long podcast because if they're driving to work or if they're. I'm
in the car all day long, and I love it.
Right, so you really do. You're not just saying that.
I listen to every single episode. I can't wait for the next one to come out, especially because I do a lot of driving, and I have to, then I have to listen to other podcasts, and they're not as good, and then I get all bugged out.
I hear you. We're not going to mention that other one you mentioned.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
All right, but we gotta. I think at some point you gotta just end the interview because it's
okay.
I mean, this has been fantastic.
I had a great time.
Would you
I'm
come
telling
back?
You, I could continue 100%.
So,
I want to come to Israel and do this.
Well, you don't really have to with technology today, but to travel 6,000 miles to get on a podcast episode, we could do it over Skype.
I'm down.
So thank you, Donny Weinraub. If you guys want to hear more from Donny, maybe we'll get Yitzy on as well. We'll do another episode. Let me know in the send me an email. Thank you very much for coming. This has been.
I'm scared. I think they're going to send emails saying we don't want to hear from this guy ever again.
Right? Is he real?
Loser.
Is he real?
Right.
Schnitzel Guys?
Yeah,
Donny, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming on the show. I wish you continue hatzlacha. I love you like a brother. I've known you since you were born. I love your family. You're awesome. You rock. Oh, you know what? This is a good time to point out. Also, my wife, when she came to Passaic, she stayed by your house. You guys took her in, and that was a phenomenal chesed that your family did.
What do you mean? She's like my sister, of course.
Right, she's like a sister. I mean, my mom was like family, so that's
Baruch Hashem.
Kol kavod, and thank you, and thank you for being on the show.
Nachum, thanks for having me, first of all, and second of all, I wish you tremendous hatzlach. I love the From Entrepreneur. I hope you keep doing it, and I wish you lots of hatzlach.
Thank you. I'm just going to ask one more question.
Sure,
because I could do that.
Go for it.
And this is the last question I'm really going to end, but what is your favorite dip for schnitzel?
Favorite dip?
Yeah. Like, do you eat it straight up, or is it?
No, I love dips. I'm obsessed with dips.
We didn't even touch on dips.
Yeah,
then.
we didn't get into Schnitzel. We really touched very briefly on it.
So we'll do a whole nother thing.
Yeah, we should do a whole thing.
Schnitzel.
But the bottom was, I like, typically, first of all, my favorite side dish is coleslaw with Schnitzel.
I didn't really want to bring up side dishes in this episode.
I'm just saying that I love to eat coleslaw with Schnitzel. That's one of my favorite
but
things.
we weren't really talking about side dishes.
Okay, fine.
That's a whole nother.
Dips, I like usually to have two types of dips. I like a mayo dip, like a garlic mayo.
Okay.
Right? And I like to have some sort of ketchup barbecue sauce type dip also. So I like to have both. Like, I would even with every bite.
With one piece of Schnitzel, you'll
I
take
could
two
dip
different...
it in the barbecue and the mayo and eat it together like that.
That's Russian dressing.
You could call it what you want, my friend, but it's awesome.
With a kicker.
It's awesome. Beautiful. And all different flavors, and depending on which store and place and blah, blah, blah. We're not getting into it now, but
you're the man.
You're the man.
Everybody, thank you. Donny Weinraub, thank you for joining us.
Sei gesund.
Magic Masters, Shnitzel Guys, Rubber Schnitzels. This has been awesome. Oh, one more thing.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I hate to do this to the audience. Guys, thank you so much for listening, but Chai Lifeline. How'd you get involved? What's that all about?
Well, because my partner Yitzy was, I told you, a survivor of cancer, has prosthetic leg. But early on, he was a camper at Camp Simcha.
Right.
My first time involved in Chai Lifeline was that I would go up to camp and together we would do a show for the campers. This is early when he was a camper,
right.
And then later on, I became a counselor at Camp Simcha for a couple of years, which was amazing. I have an amazing experience. Changed my life totally.
Wow.
And then later on, my cousin Mayor actually started. He was doing Bike for Chai one of the first few years that they did it, and he kind of got me in. So he's like, do Bike for Chai, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. I never rode a bike in my life. Like, I haven't rode a bike since I'm 12. My bike got stolen from Rabbi Eisenman's backyard when I was 12, and I've never got a bike since then.
That was actually, I borrowed it.
By the way, you should hear what it sounded like then. I can't imagine what it sounds like now. Everyone knew when I was coming up the street, that thing was like, Anyway, bottom line is I was never on a bike for 20 years. And then I was like, all right, let's do it. So I trained and did Bike for Chai, raised money, and it was a phenomenal thing. I did it again. And now I skipped a year. This past year, I did it again. This year, I rode with my brother-in-law, JJ Isaac, who a lot of people probably know, who also has a prosthetic leg. And he rode a recumbent bike, and we rode together there. And that was with Nissan Gold.
Oh, I saw that video. I saw that ending video. That was amazing.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was the first night. We were the last ones. We drove in at 9:30.
I'm going to put that video in the show notes because that was a phenomenal video.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, that was an amazing experience. JJ's a rock star that he rode that whole thing like with his arms like that. I mean, it was awesome. But anyway, Chai Lifeline is a phenomenal organization. I'm a big fan. I saw the stuff that they do in action, and I was a counselor there. We went back. I did an alumni. We had an alumni event this year. I brought my family back for it, which was awesome. So I got to go up to camp twice this summer, which was awesome. And I don't know what else.
Beautiful. Okay, that's it. That's really it now.
All right.
No more. We got to stop here. We can't. We got this episode has to end.
That's it?
Now?
Okay.
Should everybody stop? Ladies and gentlemen, Donny Weinraub. Right, if anybody's still listening.
Sei gesund, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening to the From Entrepreneur Podcast with Nachum Kligman. We hope you learned something valuable, and we'll share this with your friends. For show notes, archives of previous episodes, and more information to help you start and grow your business, please visit our website, www.FromEntrepreneur.com. Listen, learn, be Matzliach.